Time to go. There we go. Right. Finally remember to shut my office room off from the rest of the world so I don't have to listen to the posty knock on it. Yes, first world problems. And first world... yes, just ridiculousness. The complete ridiculousness of it. Right. So. Should probably get started, shouldn't I? Alright. I feel I need a terminal. Which I am going to have to update as well. Cool. There we go. That terminal. Feel like I'm going to be building a tool for a community. So, probably want a web browser as well over here. In yonder window, we would like a browser. One of these days, I'm going to work out what the hell is going on in my head and coming out of my mouth. That day is not today. There we go. Hello, world. So, a while ago, my colleague Datan and some other people at Logs.io built this, which it's not the happiest of subjects. It's a dashboard for COVID, using Kibana to visualize everything, all the data, all the unhappy happies. Oh, I didn't realize that Wyoming and Montana had stopped reporting. I should probably tell Datan so he can fix it. But that will be a problem for later when I have my meeting with him. Coffee out of my own face. I can't tell if that's amazing or just the absolute epitome of narcissism. I'm starting to think possibly the epitome of narcissism. Alright, here we go. Forgetting all my stats. Alright. The joys of rocking two keyboards. I keep clicking the wrong thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm after. Hello world. Sound like the Frankenstein monster from Van Helsing. I want to live. One of these days, something will be discovered about why I'm fundamentally mixed up. Right, there we go. So, anywho, yeah. Kibana. That's where I was. Kibana. Yeah, so they built this wonderful dashboard, but on the wonderful data set from Johns Hopkins University, I remember. Yeah, there we go. But it's not a happy thing, and it's the only thing that lives on our community domain. Well, I was also going through the docs the other day and like just seeing what I hadn't done with the APIs and could do with playing with. And I spotted, where are you? Find a gateway there, that's not it. I spotted an API I've not used before. And realised I should probably play with it. Oddly enough, it's to do with Kibana as well. Nope. Import Kibana object. That's the badger. Right. So I spotted this, which is a endpoint for importing and exporting Kibana objects. So things like visualizations. And I realized, well, I hadn't played with it. Probably should. You never know, it might be fun. Very different definitions of fun to most people. But still, maybe fun. And we could also import them. So that's the export, this is the import. What that made me realise is, could probably build a nice little community hub where people can actually share these. Now, the Logs.io API isn't available to everybody. It's only available to members on... you know what? I cannot remember. Which is not great, considering been here a while. Pricing. Boom. The Pro. That's the one. The Pro. It's not available to the community, but it is available to the Pro. However, you can still export from inside of the inside of Kibana itself. See if I can log me in. Nah. Without accidentally leaking my password. There we go. Autofill. And that was once again using the wrong mouse. Looky, data. But visualization. You know what? I'm going to make a new one because I haven't actually saved the ones I've been using. On top of that, X, date histogram. Yeah, add bucket. Y will be the terms and the terms of the log level. Doof. Yay, we can now see where logs are and where the worst of them are, etc. Options. Make it more gradient. Shove. Cool. Probably want to fake some data into there just to make it look a little bit more lively. Terminal. CD development. What do I call that? Project log generator. Cool. Now if I just do node server. There we go. That should just dump some information in there for me to have. Make my life a little bit more simple. There we go. Hey! I believe there's an Abhishek in the room. Hello! How's it going at your new job, good sir? Freeze! There we go. So we're going to get some more. Ooh. Mr. Eccleston. How are you doing? I haven't seen you since... Hack Threads Hackathon 2018? No, 17. I don't think you made it to 2018. Blimmin' heck. Time flies when pandemic hit. See if we actually get some more data coming through. Yeah, there we go. So we have warnings, error, info, as were dictated by the system. Great. It's doing what I wanted to do. I don't know. Cool. Anywho. If I save this, we also get the options for... I'm going to call it the General Error Heat Map. Nice to see me stream. To be fair, I was streaming before it got sweaty this year. I started back in April, March, April, was doing it all the way until the end of May, and then my apartment, which the office faces the sun, meant that I was quite literally sweating on stream. And due to the fact that we didn't want I personally didn't want the stream to appear to be a Swedish bath, I decided to stop doing it until my body temperature returned to a relatively normal level. But yeah, okay, so we have a Kibana object here. I've also noticed, Mr. Eggleston, you have been doing some AR work still. So the last time I saw you, I remember you building yourself a Wii shooter. And you've stepped up from that, if I remember. You've gone into full AR visualizations and whatnot. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think you have. I find that really interesting, where you've done... I saw one, I think it was on LinkedIn, where you'd done some data visualization of your runs, which included full 3D mapping of the run itself on a topological map. Once again, don't quote me, but I thought it was cool. Cool, so we have logs, and then we have the share button, permanent snapshots. Right, now, yes. That's some special fandangery. Let me see if we can find the export button. Heat map. There we go. Actions. Well, it just takes me to the error screen. Google this with me, people. Google this. How to export Kibana. I was looking at this yesterday, damn it. Go to management, saved objects. Okay. Yeah. Saved objects. Aha. Das ist ein Heatmap, ja. View visualization. Okay, right. There we go. That makes more sense. We have an object. Save visualization object. So we have got the way to edit, and we can grab it and export it. Right, okay, so. Kiba. No. The other stuff is really interesting. No! God, no. Yeah, I need lunch soon as well, but I promised myself today I would start this project, and I've realised if I start the projects on stream, even if I'm distracted by people, at least they flipping start. When I have all these like side projects and stuff that I go, I'll do them for work, and I'll do them, release them to the community, it'll be great. I never actually crack on with them, because I always find something else to do, normal work-related stuff. This, oddly enough, is work as well, but I have a horrible habit of just, yeah. But yeah, you know what? Considering most .NET devs avoid, I think that's the best way I can describe it, any form of visualization and, like, work that is interpreted on the view end, yeah, I think it's a great way of encouraging people to do more stuff. Especially as visualization, even if it's like, it's not a GUI, it's not a front end, it's a literal viewable representation of data, is actually really cool. There we go. Anyway, so we have an object. Let's open the object. No, poop. Gotta love when I haven't used that source before, so it doesn't know how to interpret it. Yeah. Sorry, everybody. Oh, wrong mouse. I think that's my new, like, special catchphrase. Wrong mouse. Where did I get saved? Let's just check my downloads. That's my bin. Open it, Finder. Yes, the irony. I'm rocking a Windows machine to stream this and the Mac machine to actually build stuff. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. They added. There we go. Now, if I do... Ta-da! Let's click this terminal because that's a bit much. There we go. There is the complete object representing the cabana. Right. This doesn't mean a lot to anybody because it's a giant JSON object. However, if we make something way more shareable and a lot more easy to consume, then you know what? Something more useful. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to... Ooh, that looks like it may be what I want. Yep, that's exactly what I want. Let's get that installed. There we go. Yep, that's more useful. Okay, so it's got color schemes of the visualization. The name of it, even though I could technically name that to general logging heat map, because technically it's showing more than errors. Yes, I realized the mistake myself. So yeah, I could do that. There we go. That's what that. Well, it's not what I could do. It is what I am doing. We are going to make a app to save and store these. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting, everybody. I would like some opinions, and opinions are good. I would like to know where you think the data should sit. Like, do I save it to a database and run it from Logs.io infrastructure? Do I make it so people can, so it uses GitHub as a data storage engine so that people can fork and share and things outside of this as well as inside of this application? Do I turn them into S3 objects and make a flat API sort of queryable thing? What do you, the budding developers and people who will inevitably judge me for building this, think it should do? Because I'm not sure. Like, I would like to make it searchable so people can dig around and pull out a visualization they may need or they don't have, so they want something to use. For example, if you're starting a new project and you've got Apache logs, cool. There's already in Kibana as a default for those. Wow, that's beautifully spammy. In search of followers. Flock. Anyway, as I was saying, I do make it searchable. So, yeah, you've got a new project and you're using a tool that you've never used before. So, say, let's think of one. Let's think of a tool that nobody's going to have used. Well, not nobody, but in context. Say you are a PHP developer, you've been using Laravel for years, you're well acquainted with how Monolog works and how Monolog outputs. So if you were to be given a Laravel app, you could easily like get the logs you want and get the visualizations to actually see what's going on in your system. Hi Dan, how's it going? Did you say you were going to be streaming? Do you want to do it today so I can hop off and badger you instead of you badgering me? But yeah, distracting me, Daniel, distracting me. Oh, okay. Never. Hey, I'm not a good heckler. I'm a great heckler. I heckle myself, for God's sakes. Yes, as I was saying, so Laravel Dev, but then you switch over and start using Kubernetes as the tooling, and you need to actually have some dashboards that report on the individual components and elements of Kubernetes. How do you do this? Or you switch to from using Nginx to HAProxy, which do actually output different formats of logs. How do you know which visualizations you need or how to build them until you've got enough logs to build the outputs? You don't. So how about we make something where it's shareable so that you can share Nginx logs, so proxy logs. What is it? The Happy Gateway, which is used for... I think it's... Oh no, it's not Happy Gateway, it's just Happy.js, which has a slightly different log format for its HTTP requests than Express. Which you can then use as part of the offline serverless functionality. So how about we just make something that means that you can build it, share it, other people can consume it, and maybe make improvements via the magic of something. So, wonderful audience of knowledgeable people that are definitely smarter than I am. Where do I store this? Do we use GitHub as a storage engine and just use Algolia or something as an index to keep an eye on the relevant data? Do I put it into a database and try and invent my own forking methodology or something? Do I just get it to dump to S3? I don't know. Thus, opinions are welcome. Please, because at this point I'm stuck. I'm very, very tempted to just build so if you copy and paste the ND-JSON into it and provide it with a GitHub auth, probably done via Auth0, just to make my life not painful, it will then allow you to generate a GitHub, because if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've done this, hence the don't quote me on this. GitHub API. Ba-ba-ba. Boom. You can add files over the wire to an existing repo. There's the repo. What actual repo interactions? Nah. Do I have a create? Anyway, I'm pretty sure in here is some stuff for it. I'm pretty sure. There's already be under the title of aptly named repos. So, users repos, branches, collaborators, releases, list all repos. Okay, cool. List of repos for a user. Also cool. Org. Great. List of public repos. No. Create a repo for the authenticated user. So I could make it where you pass it the Kibana. It generates a repo with the correct tags, with everything else, and at the same time plops it into Algolia or something else as a search index. Ironically, I would not use Elasticsearch for this, especially not the Logs.io Elasticsearch, because that is ridiculously tailored towards logging and not searching. So yeah, help. I can see people are watching me, and they're not helping me. Yes, I'm being needy. Otherwise, I'm just going to start hacking stuff together and seeing, you know what, let me see if I can draw a picture of what I want to do first. Now, I'm not a Windows machine, so I can't use MS Paint, because that would be the easy way. And I can't use a pen and paper, because oddly enough, I don't have any. So I need to find a way of visualizing this so that we can get cracking. I want to move on from this playlist as well. Let's switch out to the EDM. Next track. It's more like it. A bit more bounce, 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 baby. Morning, Senor Jake. I don't know. I've only had one cup of coffee, and you may love this. I now have my own branded merch. And I may have now, I've had it for a while, and my narcissism has never reached this peak before. Yeah, okay. Right. Actually, Dan, Jake, you may be really, really, really helpful and useful in this one. Idea. I'm going to build a community output for Kibana. So, earlier in the year, when peak pandemic, my colleague Datan built a COVID dashboard using Kibana, which, you know what, is useful. It's also grim as heck because it's the only thing on our community site. It's the only thing to show our community efforts. Kind of grim, to put it brutally. So, I was having a look at the API yesterday and going, what part of it hadn't I played with? Found the ability to export, import Kibana objects, so visualizations and full dashboards. And I realized, though, that the API is only available to people on the Pro plan, which, great, I am. But not everybody is. But then remembered that you can export it directly from Kibana, and it produces something called an ND.json file. Yes, I had to Google how to do that because I'd forgotten. I want to build a community landing page, a place to go to find Kibana visualizations. So, like your analytics tooling yesterday, you may not know what you want your analytics to read out as. Or in this case, more like what I'm used to, so logging information and like system level information. If you have a fresh Elastic Stack implementation of the ELK, and you're using some new tooling, you don't know what graphs, visualizations, charts, alerts, all that jazz that you're going to want if it's a new app. You essentially have to capture all the data and wait for something to explode before you actually know what graphs and measures and alerts and all that jazz you want. So I thought, how about I build a community place where you can share them? Because that may actually be useful to 15 people on the planet. And it gives me an excuse to play with code, so yeah, it's a good idea, right? But I'm trying to work out the storage medium. Because I want it to be shareable, do I want it to be shared within the application itself, in the DB or in a storage object? Or do I want it to use GitHub as the storage engine, so having to use your APIs to build a fresh repo or use an existing repo that the user lists off? Attach the file, because you can create files over the wire on GitHub. I've worked out, like, you don't have to do git commands on a VM, which is, as we all know, giving a VM SSH access and all that jazz is the bad idea. Unless it has to, don't do it. So we can create the repo, we can create the files, or we can attach it to an existing one. And so I am very much confused about what I should do to make this shareable and easier to consume. Like, do I use it as a gist? Because it's a single file. Do I make it so it generates a gist for the user and then stores that somewhere? Yeah. Thoughts, opinions. Tell me I'm wrong. That's a good idea. Okay, so it's not a bad idea, but I'm just hopeless at trying to work out the implementation. Like, I know I'm going to need a process to do using probably Auth0 to authenticate, and it just sounds good for storing, creating, etc. Okay, because I've never actually played with the Gist APIs, so I have no idea how good, horrible, bad they are. Courageous. Okay. Oh, crap! Look, is all you do? That's like the world's best and dumbest. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That is the best and dumbest thing ever. Where it's a named list and you attach. Okay, so you think gists. Yeah, and then I was going to use like Algolia or stand up my own Elasticsearch to actually create a searchable way of people being able to find what they want, like search for the name of it or whatever. You're pretty sure we used the Gist API for hacks before? Really? Dude, it's officially been 4 years since I attended a hackathon. Like, 4 years since I actually went to a hack and actually built something. I've, like, since then, been part of them, mentored, blah, 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 as you have, but it's been 4 years since I've actually sat down with a group of mates and built some random stuff. Like, I miss sitting down and just building out a game in 24 hours to see what the feck you could build with the random tech. Dan, you don't hate participating in hackathons. You've just not participated with the right people in the right ones. To be fair, I can probably say this for Jake as well. Hackathons that were for money weren't fun. Like, they had, like, not the for money one, as in like the startup culture, build a business and do it now. Like, they were not fun, and we did, when we first started doing hackathons, like back in 2012, 2013, it's like, okay, we'll go to every last one we can get our hands on because we kept winning free shit. It's like, great, do it. And they just weren't fun. Like, we tried making them fun. It's like, there was, oh Christ, what was the one that was in Amsterdam that we did a few times? Balls, what's it called? Blah, 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 blah. Kings of Code, yeah, the hack battle, yes. Like, we made it fun just by the people we are, but, like, the actual event, because it was so startup orientated, was not that fun. Like, I think they reached peak ridiculous when they tried making Travis from Uber judge hacks. Travis being that ridiculous CEO who, like, has no freaking idea what is cool tech. Good sir. But that's why it's fun, because you build random stuff and stupid things are fun. Or at least, I'm stupid and I'm fun, I think. Kinda, maybe, a little bit. Oh, hello. I will solve real problems. I do it in my own time. Like this, where I want to, like, build a community. But sometimes people want to use their hobby to take a break. And for me, that's a hackathon. Anyway, right, back to my problem. However, I think I'm going to go with Jake's idea of using a... Yeah, I think I'm going to draw this out. Is it? Diagrams, cool. Let's see if I can do this super stupid quick. You dislike participating in. Well, each to his own. Or their own, even. Okay. I also really want to over-engineer this. And by really want to over-engineer it, I mean I want to do stuff I haven't done in years. I want to do stuff that I've never done, because why the hell build something to learn how to do stuff without doing random stuff? So I've decided what I want to do is I'm going to break it down into 2 or 3 components, at least. We're going to have the put in boxes, shall we? 1 box, which is the app to, and then where's the text button? Why you no text? Text box. Text. Save Kibana visualizations. So, self-contained application of some sort, pretty much, that will allow you to authenticate with GitHub. Easy enough. Easy enough with other people's libraries. Let's go with that. And then that's going to store it in. It's going to you know what? Let's make a list of the bits it's going to contain. I should really do what Jake's done and like have a Trello running down the side of what I have to actually do and what I should be doing, rather than let's just monkey around and see what we can do. So we want GitHub auth. No, stop turning on the Mac volume because nobody wants to listen to that. Me erroring out on my Mac. Now we want logs, IO, API, save. Import, export. Import, export. We also want a... no, we don't want the GUI there. That's the thing. I don't want a GUI there. No, I do want a GUI import. Well, no, I want a manual import of the object. And I want an index for lookup. Yeah, I think that works, right? Maybe, kind of, no. Right, it's curious. So the GitHub API. Sorry, keeping an eye on work stuff before I get told off. Hooah. Create gist. So, get to give it a description. Public. But we don't get to tag it with stuff. Gist is non-taggable. You can't add superfluous edge information to it. Because one of the things we'll want to be able to do is not only have the name of the visualization as, well, as its name, but we also want to be able to enrich the data source. We want to be able to tag it as Kibana, Kubernetes, GraphQL, blah, 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 insert rando naming thing here so that we can search it out later. Where's my drawer? Where's my drawer? More boxes. More boxes. On top of the Kibana one, I then want a separate system to enrich it. Because why not? Let's make this fit. Enrich the object. Object. There we go. There we go. So I want to do that automatically. So I do want to be able to scan the query. So auto scan object for patterns. Manually apply the tags. What else would I want to do with it to make it more searchable and easier to consume? And whilst I wait for anybody to voice an opinion on that. Another blob, a block, a thing. Images. Oh, now that's an interesting one. So would I want to have, say, a VM of? Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, would I want a VM running which I could then run Casper or like something which I could Phantom or that Chrome driver? Yeah, and literally just get it to snapshot the screen so you can see the visualization in Kibana. But then I need data. So with the manual and the automatic processes for taking information out of Kibana and stock, you only get the visualization object. You don't get access to any of that data. So like, this is what you get. It's like, it's so pretty. It's literally just field mappings, which index it's looking at, what pattern the index is following, and the actual object construction itself, so how the panels are built, etc. It doesn't actually give you any... At least I don't think it does. It gives you anything to actually like seed the visualization with. And it's a little bit hokey to ask somebody, screenshot your company's data analytics so that we can show it. Pretty sure that's a quick way of getting fired. So, unless you have another idea, unless I am being completely bat crap, yeah. Think, Rain, think. Aw, thanks, I'm right for once. That's not something that anybody ever wants to admit, especially to me. Jesus. My ego. My ego. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Because it needs to be compelling. And obviously we want I want a front end. Now this is where it's going to get interesting, because one of the things I want to do is I want to learn how to do full stack observability. Like, everybody who's tuned into my stream at any point or any of my talks in the last 7 months will heard me mention that term. It's because it's pretty new to me. Front end. Give me a search for viz. Fave and favorite. Well, let's call it a like for ease of me not trying to remember how to spell favorite. And auto import object. Okay, so I've got the 3 big components I want to do, which is this one. Because one of the things I also want to do... Oh no, that was a point. Little apps like this are pretty pointless when you start and you've got no information. So I was going to make my life easier by having, this was going to be awful, GitHub scraper. Not sure how, but we'll search a lot of GitHub for the objects to pre-fill the site. Don't hate me. I hate that is the way I'm putting that because it's actually completely accurate. So yeah, I want to do full stack observability. So like I've been doing it in the backend now for a little while. So previous to this, I've been using ELK to do full log management and stuff in multiple roles. I'd also started to do metrics work inside of AWS for Lambdas. If people know, I love Lambdas. I find them easy and quick and nice and hacky. So I like Lambdas, and I've done that before. And I've previously played with React. Now, I've recently been implementing a piece of open source software called Jaeger, which is a distributed tracing tool. So that's, think of it as like Xdebug or something. So, or like tracing, not tracing. The application management inside of, you know, it'd be easier if I just showed the network on network tab in Chrome. Boom. Gives you a trace of all the all the different components and how they impact on each other. Which in this graph is really tiny because I have it as a side. Oh, whoops. But yeah, so you can think of tracing like that, where it like builds a graph of the path of information from the initial income to your system to where it ends up, and you get like where the different components are impacting each other or like not playing well. And I've been using that for a little while now, and it's pretty handy. So yeah, but that's all server side, and I've been reading around it, and it turns out it is possible to do in JavaScript on the front end. So I kind of want to do a full stack observability thing, and like I want to build each one of these components in a different technology on a different platform to prove the damn point. Because one of the things I've been like hearing is all these tools only work unless you are all inside the same system and the same stack, etc. And I want to point out that by using open source tools, you don't have to care where you start. So I'm thinking I want to build one part in AWS, one part in DigitalOcean, and one part in either Vessel or Azure. Literally just have them do all the work. What are people's thoughts? Would people be interested in me building? Well, building is probably the wrong term. How do people feel about me kludging this together and we all learn how to not do things? Cool. And for the seasoned developers out there who are currently just going, what the hell did I step into? Could I ask your opinion of that diagram? Kludging together sounds fun. No, I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing about my career and how I've only ever seemed to have got anywhere by kludging stuff together rather than actually properly building it. But yeah, does that sound like a reasonable thing to build, or is this completely ridiculous and I should shelve it and think of a new idea? First person to make an answer, I'm going to follow what they say. Because I'm stupid. Or, more importantly, I have no originality and whatnot. Ah, bloody hell. Morning, Jim. How's it going? Oh, also, I for you, Jim, I have a little something I'm going to share over the Brumtech Slack with you. How does anybody feel like joining me in guest slots where I want to interview them during the day and just have a chat? Because you know what, I am completely alone, and with the way the things are, it's going to drive me insane. So I'm thinking, instead of me just talking at a screen and having to chat with the infinite universe, invite people in and have a whole conversation. I've already convinced Jim into it, which is why I need to give him a little bit of a spiel so he can justify doing it during the workday. Because mwahaha, it turns out I can be official like all that. Yeah. If anybody is interested in me dragging them for a hour long conversation, just send me a message. But yeah. Okay. Cool. So I have 2 votes for building it. I'm not going to build it now because it's almost lunchtime and I'm flipping hungry. Never get between the fat kid and his food. So, you know what? That's been an hour of me pondering this idea out, planning it. I actually am much further along than I thought I'd get. I thought I'd spend more time Googling how to do stuff, or being told off by people and being given nothing I can work with. But no, thanks to a bit of help from our good friend Jake and some positive affirmation from Jim and Jake, you know what? I think we got there. Cool. Right, if that's the case, I am going to sign off so I can go get myself an Anderson Hill sandwich and make everybody who knows what one of those is ridiculously jealous because they don't live in the city centre. And I will catch you all later.